Welcome back. On Storyboard, we're debating the role that popular culture and mass media plays in gender sensitization. With me, Vinita Bali, Prasoon Joshi, Madhu Trehan and Prashant Bhatt. Prashant, you've been hearing very patiently. On television, we know the kind of impact it plays in terms of, reaching out to women as its audience. How difficult or easy is it to, to break the stereotype, to bring in plots and storylines which actually don't talk about stereotypical notions, and are regressive but are positive? How do people react? Because, your job depends on getting it right week after week.
Television mostly basically is a reflection of what we see in society out over there. Madhu actually made a point that a woman may actually have a very high profile job in the corporate world, and when she comes back home, she's still a very domesticated kind of a woman. What we try to show on television nowadays is a good balance between equals. You could be a working woman, you could have a career and all that. But what is very important now is that the woman of today has actually come into her elements. Television today represents women and their strong characteristics, not only emotionally, but mentally as well as physically. This is something that we do, and we have the privilege of doing so on a day-to-day basis.
While there are exceptions, while there are notable exceptions, the overwhelming imagery that's coming out of television soaps and serials is about feudal, patriarchal societies and setups, women who manipulate men in order to be successful. Would I be right if I'm saying that broadly? That is largely what's coming out. What you're talking about are the exceptions?
I would basically say, this has been a kind of a debate now for a very long time between, let's say, the regular viewers and people who don't watch television, where they say television is very regressive, and of course they keep on pointing out about age-old rituals and the feudal systems and stuff like that. I would like to actually say television has not invented all of this. It's already there in society. What television actually has done is given it a platform where people actually get to know what does exist across their borders and how you can fight the existing systems. Women in today's soaps do not continuously shed tears 5 days a week. She may basically cry on a Monday, but yes, this is rising from the ashes on a Tuesday. Wednesday, she does fight for her rights, fight for her battle. I'll give you an example over here of, let's say, a very popular show that we have on Colors, Balika Vadhu.
Yeah. Prashant, I think the point you make about Balika Vadhu is noted. The question is, are audiences responding? For every one Balika Vadhu, are there 3 other soaps that don't convey the progressive values, let's say, which is the selling proposition of Balika Vadhu? How responsive are your audiences? I think that's the question.
Audiences are extremely responsive. In fact, I'll tell you one thing. We are always asked as to how do you keep on charting your stories week on week, week on week, and week on week. Let me give you a little secret. Our stories come out of research conducted amongst the people out over there.
Right. And are you saying that these responses want to see the modern woman, the kind of woman and roles that Madhu was referring to, the kind of, things that Prasoon and Vinita have been talking about? Do your audiences want to see it? Is that what your research is saying?
The audiences, as a very popular example, the audiences out over there wanted to see Anandi divorce Jagya.
Okay.
The audiences out over there wanted to see Anandi get married again.
Right, right. So
the audiences out over there, the audiences out over there want Madhubala to get her mother married again at the age of, let's say, 40, 45.
Okay. All right, Prashant, that's good to hear.
This is the mindset.
Okay. Vinita, he's talking about changes. So changes are happening. May not be as quickly and as, as widespread as we want to see it. But how much is the economics got to do with the kind of popular culture and mass media we are seeing? Because the fact is, he was talking about the item number, women dancing, men watching. Isn't a lot of what we are consuming and consumers, is that the power equation shifts, pitched towards men? They are buying, they are the consumers.
Well, certainly economics to a large extent dictates a lot of social behavior. But I think there's another very significant trend which we are not talking enough about. And which I've noticed. You go to the villages of India, and what you find is the enrollment of little girls has increased in those schools. You speak to everyday women who work in our homes, etc., etc. Most of them are very clear that their daughters are not going to have the life that they have, and they therefore believe that education is the way to break out of this. Now, I think what popular culture also has to do is to reflect a lot of those stories. Those are stories of courage. Those are stories of individuals taking individual ownership. Those are stories of personal leadership. And I believe that we don't get to see enough of those. You know, we are enamored by item numbers and so on and so forth. And we keep talking about it as though it is, you know, the culmination of our life. There are many, many changes happening. And I do believe that popular culture must reflect a plethora of all those changes.
Prasoon, you know, what Vinita says we need to see more of, that's the exception rather than the rule. Would I be right in saying that? And if yes, why is that the case?
See,
money, commercial dynamics, you know, underpin this, isn't it?
You're living in a market, and the market reality is that jo bikta hai, wo tikta hai. So that is the reality. Nobody can deny that. When a certain singer whose songs are controversial right now, and he sings,
who I heard about just now.
Yeah, even I heard recently. I had heard of him, but I did not know up to what extent the lyrics have gone. Now, if you go and see the hits there are millions of hits there. So there is someone who is consuming that. The fact, if you can't have double standards, that on one hand I would condemn it, on another hand I would consume it. Now, there has to be a society which also has some rejection to these things. It's always very easy. See, Bollywood, television, advertising is very soft target because we create images. Very easy to target us and say, you're creating wrong images. Fine, there could be something wrong there, we might need to correct it, we need to introspect, fine. But is it going to solve the problem of the society? No. It is a larger problem, and we need to go to the roots of this problem.
Okay, Madhu, do you think we're putting too much onus on popular culture? Is there more that society, that
Not
we can
at all.
do
I
in
think,
society, which is the point Prasoon was alluding to earlier?
I think one doesn't cancel out the other, of course. Okay. Both go with each other, but the impact of advertising and film is huge. There, you see one good ad, and it's repeated. It's repeated to people back and forth in jokes. It does have an impact, and there are many ads which are objectionable. And I remember one ad in which I think it was an underwear ad or a washing soap ad, where this woman very sensually is washing her husband's underwear. Some politician got upset with it and had it banned. I didn't see anything wrong with it. It actually showed a liberated woman who enjoys her husband and sensuality. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. So, okay.
But it was banned because it touched a nerve where women are not supposed to enjoy sensual feelings.
Right. So, Prasoon, what did you want to say to that?
No, what Madhu is saying, I agree with that. Only point what I want to add is that, you know, advertisers are not there to make, yes, we make public service ads also. Sometimes we make ads to spread some messages. But mostly when we are creating advertising, we are creating to sell a product. To sell a product, you have to show a certain reality. For us to show a certain reality, the reality needs to also change. So I'm saying to sell a product, you need to show a certain reality, a certain target audience, and you portray that target audience. Definitely we should tastefully portray the target audience, but ads are not there to spread good messages about society. They are there to sell their product.
And that's true.
Yes.
That's true of films which can just be stories. So I get that. But the question though is, how do we then contribute to gender sensitization, given that whether we like it or not, all of this popular culture together adds up to creating a gender sensitive society or not creating a gender sensitive society. Given that there are commercial constraints, given that we are restricted by the society we portray, where are solutions? That's my question.
I think she also said that. She said that, you know, we need more sensitive people, self sort of regulation, self censorship, and have more sensitive people who are doing it. He got to introspect and make it more sensitive, I would
Vinita?
say.
I think there are a variety of things. You know, there is not one slam dunk answer. Of course, ads are created to sell products, but how we do what we do is as important. I think that sensitivity that filmmakers, advertising people, we as clients, I mean, we accept scripts. I think that sensitivity, that self-regulation, that delivery of quality, sending the messages which are respectful, which hold everybody in dignity, which don't, which don't sort of challenge somebody's self-esteem. I think those are the things that we have to portray in our everyday behavior, and those are the things that our communication needs to be portraying at any time.
So why are we, Madhu, let me bring you in here. Why are we not, you know, Vinita has a great suggestion, but that seems to be something that all of us can do, but nobody seems to be doing. So what seems to be the problem, you think? Do you think it's the lack of enough women in decision-making roles?
No. I don't think putting women have been known to make the most sexist decisions. So I wouldn't go with that, because the point over here is when Prasoon says we're making ads to sell products, that is true. But the point is, and to say that they're not there to give a message, but when you do things which are retro and regressive, you are giving the message by reconfirming stereotypes. So the choice is, when he said that we're reflecting reality, you're also choosing which reality to reflect. Because in this period of transition, there are many areas of our society which are, women are moving way ahead, and there are women who are being exploited or being raped or all kinds of things. So you choose which reality.
Vinita, you don't quite agree with this theory I keep trying to propagate, which is have more women in decision-making roles across board, whether it's more women filmmakers or CEOs or politicians or MPs or news anchors and editors. Why do you see that as a simplistic argument? Because I know you do see that as simplistic.
Yeah, you know, for me, it's not about gender or ethnicity or anything like that. It's got to be, you know, the right athlete for the right role. So I think this whole debate about gender and men and women has to give way to competency. I don't believe that, you know, just by putting more men or more women, you'll have better or worse decisions. We need both men and women. We need all of society to come together, because this is not a man's issue or a woman's issue, it's society's issue. We need some Renaissance men who are going to stand up and say, you know, I think differently, and I believe that this is the way we need to think. So we're talking about changing mindsets, we're talking about the way people think and therefore the way they behave, and a lot of things have to come together. You know, how I grow up, watching my father treat my mother has an impression on me far greater than any film or any advertising will. So unless I am seeing that depiction of behavior in my home, in my school, with my friends, you know, everywhere, it's going to create a different impression on me. And all of those things count, which is why we keep talking about society, our role as individuals, our role as professionals, and our role as, you know, creating the society that we can truly be proud of.
So I've got to wrap the show, but let me start with each one of you. Prasoon, what is your one recommendation towards gender sensitization, let's say for advertising, because that's what you represent the most?
As I said, you know, advertising primary job will always be to sell a product. But how, as Madhu said, how to sell it? What, I think there is a self-regulation required. So for that, you know, when we discuss an idea or a script in a conference room where people are there, you know, the comfort level with the portrayal, the way we are portraying, the kind of stories we are writing about women, the way we are projecting our women, the comfort level has to be of a kind which the society needs. You should never be able to, you know, portray a woman in an objectionable way, or something which is not right, which is degrading or which is demeaning. I think we need a collective consciousness.
Okay, Madhu, your final comment on how popular culture, you know, vehicles of mass media, how do we bring in gender sensitization? The one thing you would recommend that people do across these industries?
Oh, one of the things that I would do is remove these slogans of gender sensitization, commodification of women. I think these slogans become just too superficial. And I wouldn't even ask for regulation in the advertising world or self-regulation in the advertising world. No, I would just ask for sensitize yourself to what is actually happening in the new India. And once you put your finger on it, which many ads do, and portray these young people in a fun way with complete gender neutrality, I think that's the way forward.
So the bottom line, there's consensus that a lot needs to be done, and it needs to be done urgently. Thank you very much, Vinita, Prasoon, Prashant and Madhu for joining in. Thank you for watching Storyboard this week. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, so do tune in.